All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. 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 365, we're making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Nez. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to sit in with me before, you can catch me on the ASAP Network, All Sports, All Plays Network, also on Viva Live TV, channel 598, Roku as well. So just wanted to get into a couple things today. We have a bowl week coming up for college. ASU is down in the Las Vegas Bowl, down in Las Vegas, Nevada, at that very, very nice Raider Stadium, Variant Field. But so we got the ASU bowl game coming up. The Suns, we'll talk about their big win last night. Big win to me, beating Boston without DA and without Devin Booker. And then, of course, our Arizona Cardinals have a big game coming up Monday Night Football, primetime television for your man Kyler Murray and your boy DeAndre Hopkins, and go ahead and show off their talents to the rest of the world as we play the LA Rams, and to go ahead and solidify our NFC West championship this year. So let's get into first things first. And by the way, guys, this is a little bit different than what you'll normally see me on normal settings. Whenever you see J Takes, it's going to be a little different. We chill, we hang out, we talk sports. You might even catch me smoking or, sipping on something here and there. But it's more of a laid-back environment here. But so let's talk about the Boston Suns game last night. Again, no Devin Booker, no DeAndre Ayton. So in place, we had JaVale McGee starting, and then we had Sticks stepping in and actually playing significant amount of minutes, which is something that a lot of Suns fans have been dying to see all year from the previous top 10 pick. I'll start off. The Suns did take home the victory. We did defeat the Boston Celtics by 111-90. So we did defeat them by 21 points, and we pretty much were in control the entire game. Chris Paul had a really big game. As magnificent as he is controlling the floor. 10 points, 12 assists. He was 4 of 9 for shooting. And really, let's be honest, I'm not sure if you caught the game itself, but Chris Paul really could have had his way more points than what he had, but he's so patient. He gets everybody involved. It makes the game much easier for those around him. A la Sticks, he played 22 minutes last night. He was 7 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. He did pick up 2 blocks and had a steal. One thing I will highlight, he did take 6 3-point shots. He was 1 of 6 from downtown, which is not something I'm upset at. He took the shots when he was supposed to take the shots. Passing up, I always feel this way, even when, playing on, previously myself, a guy that, will pass up a wide open shot versus the guy that will actually take that shot and hit it every once in a blue moon. It's a big difference as far as the way you have to defend the guy. You do have to respect the fact that he will put that jumper up. He will take that open shot. And of course, we're all NBA talents here. the possibilities do increase, because they're on the floor. They've done this in the past. They've proven that they should be here. So looking at that, I do want to go a little bit more into Stick stat lines. He did have 2 big blocks and 9 rebounds, and coming from him and what we're waiting, what we need from that position, that's exactly what we expect from him in those amount of minutes. And I mean, he didn't look out of place. He really fit in. I would like to see him work on his shooting so he can actually add that portion of his offensive game as an actual threat. Once that comes into play, he gets a little bit more comfortable on the court. Then Sticks is really going to make a move on here, and it looking forward, we do have a decision as we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So looking at that, we do have to either re-sign him or let him go. So I do feel as if we should be putting him out there, see what he's able to do. Let the actual game come to him. I mean, he's playing alongside a perennial Hall of Famer. And probably, to me, one of the best point guards that I've seen in my era of basketball is as far as controlling the game. Us Sus fans were kind of pampered, so to speak, because we were fortunate enough to be able to watch the Jason Kidds, the Kevin Johnsons, the Steve Nashes of our eras growing up, to see what the point guard position is really supposed to be played like. And Chris Paul, no shadow of a doubt, is doing exactly what he should be on the court. And he's doing everything that we, as Suns fans and as the organization, would want from our point guard, looking at the history of what we do and how we run that position. So also, big notes here to Landry Shamet. I know that he's been getting a lot of flack from a lot of Suns fans out there, but this guy is doing what we brought him in to do. He did start yesterday. He was 26 minutes, 10 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. He was 1 for 4 from three-point land, so he shot 25%. And I think he's shooting somewhere around the marks of 33, 34% on the year. Landry is doing exactly what we needed him to do: come off the bench, spark our team, and be able to be that offensive guy that we can kind of not necessarily go to, but we can kind of lean on if need be to when we're in a drought, so to speak, because it does happen periodically here, not as much as we have seen in the past, because we do have the captain of the ship, Chris Paul, who's controlling the ball and makes it a little bit easier for us to score and continue that path. So again, McCall Bridges had another big game, 14 points. He was 2 for 2 for three-point land. Big game on defense as well. He did have a block as well, but he's really, 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 patting that resume or adding to that resume, so to speak, on winning Defensive Player of the Year. He definitely should be in the conversations thus far from what we've seen early on. I mean, he goes in and night out and guards the best player on the court every single time. So he definitely should be in the conversation. He should have been in the conversation more last year as well. I think this year, after, going to the NBA Finals, having that strong playoff run, and the national eyes really being set on him, they know what to expect from McCall Bridges this year, and they're really paying attention to his game as it is improving, and it has improved every single year. Him and his brother, I don't know what they do in the offseason, but they must vigorously work out together or go after it, because both of them, every single year that they've been in the NBA, have increased their production overall and, their game themselves. So I really give big ups to McCall Bridges. And then Crowder, as usual, playing big minutes, 31 minutes, 16 points, 9 boards, 2 assists. He picked up a block and a steal as well. But the real big portion of this game, that to me we need to highlight is JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee, 21 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He was 18 plus minus. He really did his thing. And that's something that we really are going to need come playoff time. I heard all the Suns fans earlier in the season talking about Frank the Tank on his remarkable stretch of basketball, which I take nothing away from Frank the Tank. He's one of my favorite guys coming out of Wisconsin. When he came out, I wanted us to, take a look at him then. So I'm glad Frank the Tank is on this roster. But we also need to understand what Frank the Tank brings to the table and why he hasn't been a starter in this league and depended on more in this league. He's injury prone, and he plays good in spurts. He'll have a stretch of 3 or 4 games where Frank the Tank is just that, Frank the Tank. He's out there doing his thing, and then he's fizzles down and gets back to his normal self. So we got to keep that in mind, even though we do see him, playing outside of himself in those last, that stretch, the 2-week stretch there. He was playing above and beyond what we expect from him. So, it's definitely a good guy to have on the roster, but it's definitely not anything that we need to go and make moves and put Frank more into this rotation. I think come playoff time, having Frank, having JaVale McGee, that's really, really, really going to help this team, going up against a Milwaukee, going up against the Lakers or some of these other teams with more low post threats and bigger bodies to bang with down low, so that's going to help DeAndre out in the long run. But again, we know what we get with Frank the Tank. We always appreciate when he is just doing his when he's doing more than what we expect from him. But let's not get the air blown into our heads. Come back down to life and understand who we're dealing with. But just to round out, Cam Johnson, 16.6 rebounds. He was 4 for 7 from 3. He picked up a steal. Cameron Payne, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And again, like I said, Sticks, 22 minutes off the bench, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, and a steal. He was 3 in the plus minus category. He had a couple of fouls and a turnover there. But again, 21 points, victory over the Boston Celtics. No DeAndre Ayton, no Devin Booker. We held Jason Tatum under 25 points. He had 24, 7 and 3. We slowed down Schroeder, who only had 15, 3 and 3. I think he just came off a 30-point game in one of his most recent games as well. So overall, I really, really, really am happy with this team. Al Horford, 9 points, 4 rebounds. Williams only 10 points, 5 rebounds. So we really did our thing out there. Next week on the schedule, it looks like we have the Clippers on Monday. Tuesday, we play Portland. Thursday, with Washington. And then we end the week with Charlotte on Sunday. So it's going to be some pretty big games. I know that Portland game, of course, that franchise is going through a lot. Looks like they're bringing back talks with the 76ers, trying to work out something there. They did, however, put out the talks that Damian Lillard is available, as they made sure that everyone was clear. Damian Lillard's not going anywhere. Just to touch a little bit on that, I've touched it in the times before on the ASAP network. Again, if you this is your first time tuning in with me, catch me more often on All Sports, All Plays Network, ASAP network. Again, we are on Viva Live Television, channel 598, and Roku as well. But again, just looking at this, the Suns are in a good spot. I'm really looking forward to Christmas Day, where we play Steph again, and splitting the last game with him. Again, we didn't have Devin Booker in that game either, so I'm not really worried about it. We see them again Christmas Day, and I don't think the Golden State Warriors will be opening any presents that day unless it's a L inside. You know what I mean? So definitely looking forward to that. So let's change gears a little bit. Let's move over to football. Talk about these Arizona Cardinals. So coming into Monday's game, we're on a 2-game win streak. we get Kyler Murray back. He came back last week, looked good. Looked like he needed that rest. His feet are underneath him. He looked really good out there. Kyler Murray last week, he threw for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't need a lot of yards to get the job done. Defeated the Bears 33-22. He was 11 for 15, and he ended it with a 136.9 passer rating. He's just adding again, guys, to his resume and the reasons why he should be MVP. I mean, of course, a lot of people are going to go to bat saying, he missed 3 games. The team won 2 of them without him. There's a lot of other things that, we're going to hear. But again, when we look at this Arizona Cardinal team, we know it revolves around Kyler Murray. Last year, Stelver had that last game against the Rams because Kyler couldn't go. We weren't able to win that game, and we were knocked out of the playoffs. This year, we've seen what Kyler Murray is capable of, and when he's playing at his peak level, what this team is capable of clicking in all cylinders. So it's without a shadow of doubt so far to me, Kyler Murray is the MVP of the league. He's coming out every single week and putting that on display. I mean, the team, we missed the playoffs again, like I mentioned last year, and we're 10-2 and number 1 team in the NFL. That speaks leaps and bounds in itself. You don't need much backing or support or facts, stats, or anything to support that. That line right there speaks a lot, in 2 different ways. Of course, you got Coach of the Year candidate Cliff Kingsbury, coming up and making changes to click with this offense and make sure that everyone is involved, spread the ball around, use your weapons. And that's the thing about this team, the way it's built. We have weapons all over the place. Adding Zach Ertz, I mean, is huge, not only for this particular team itself, but for the Cardinals in the history of the Cardinals. That's a position that we've always needed help at. We've always, struggled with getting top talent guys, not only into the uniform, but once they get into the uniform to play and produce like a top talent guy at that position. So bringing in Zach Ertz and into a Cliff Kingsbury offense and passing attack that really needs a tight end that is capable of running these routes, is capable of pulling that ball down and chip blocking, and before he goes out on his route, but still capable of executing the route in a timely manner. Because darn well, this design, this playbook that Cliff Kingsbury had, it was set up with college caliber players. That's where he executed and really went through and fine-tuned this playbook before he came over. So, in those cases, the speed, the overall speed of gameplay progressing over to the NFL is leaps and bounds of difference as well. So, a tight end is a major part of this offense. So that was huge. And being able to put him right into productive situations right off the back is another thing that I tip my hat off to Cliff, and I tip my hat off to Zach for being ready to execute and take it on. But, Zach came out guns blazing. So, with that being said, I also want to, make a note to Kime, because Steve, he gets a lot of flack as well for some of the moves that he's made in the past with the Michael Floyds, the Reddicks, and Jonathan Coopers and different things he's done, David. So, looking at this, I really tip my hat off to Kime, going out and getting a JJ Watt, going out and saying, Marcus Golden was a great fit here. We really need to go out and bring him back into this fold and put him back into this lineup and bring that dynamic, play that Marcus brought to this team. And that's gelled well. JJ Watt, unfortunately, he had an injury, but when JJ Watt was here, he was a run stuffing machine. and that complemented the rest of the line, the defensive line that we had. Going out and getting Isaiah Simmons with such dynamic abilities that he has, the speed in which he covers the field, reaching and grabbing Byron Murphy, and look what he's butted into. You got the Budda Baker, you got the Chandler Jones, you got the Jordan Hicks. This team is primed for a Super Bowl run right now on both the defensive and the offensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, we got James Conner. Steve went out and grabbed him, and look what he's done. He only leads the league in touchdowns. Then you get the sure hands of AJ Green out there, and people are like, oh, I hear the chatter a lot. What has AJ Green done for you? AJ Green is sure-handed. If we throw the ball to AJ Green, we know that he's pretty much going to come down with the ball, minus that end zone debacle. We're not even going to go into that. I don't know what was going on. That was I wasn't in the play huddle. I wasn't in the huddle. I'm not going to blame it directly on AJ. He's a veteran in this league. Something was missed. That's very unlike AJ just to be completely out of it in a situation like that. Besides that debacle right there, AJ Green has been exactly what we needed him to be on this roster. And then when we make it to the playoffs, we got a guy again that's sure-handed outside of DeAndre Hopkins that we can depend on in crunch time. The other thing I want to do is tip my hats off to Kime for not giving up on I can't believe his name, just Christian Kirk, because he wasn't, kind of living up to his potential in the first 2 years. And now he's found his place in that slot position and is really taking advantage of the opportunities he's had. And has even stepped up on the days where we've had to put him in the one or the two because we've had injuries to either AJ or DeAndre or things of that nature. So this team is clicking. They made the right moves on the offensive line, which was a debacle 2 years ago. So we're moving in the right direction. And, the thing about it is we do have youngsters in place at positions that are prime and that are still growing. So I think there's a lot of brightness to this future of this organization, and not just, what we have in front of us today. I don't think that it's going to be a situation where, it's a do or die Super Bowl now or go. I really think that after this year, Cliff Kingsbury has earned his spot to get an extension with this team, and he should have put the doubters away as far as quieted them on whether or not he's an NFL caliber coach. So it's definitely something to take in perspective. But going into this game with the Rams, the Arizona Cardinals are a 2.5 point favorite. Monday Night Football, we have to show out, and that's the one thing that Arizona sports teams don't get too often. It's very rare that you hear us spoken about. I give big time media some kudos for mentioning the Cardinals, but the Cardinals stamped it to where you can't not miss the Cardinals. You can't not talk about the Cardinals. And then you look at this week, the power rankings, and we're second. I don't know how we're second. Doesn't make fucking sense, but we're second. So, it is what it is out here in Arizona. We're used to it. We don't care. Mikal Bridges said it the best. They're not out there guarding him night in and night out. He ignores it. The Arizona fans, we feel the same way. We ignore it. We know what we have in front of us. We know what's there. So it's definitely something that we're not worried too much about. But going into this game, the Rams, I think, are in a worse position than typical. When we meet each other, I think they really need a win here because we are kind of solidifying the power change in this division. It's going to be left up to the Lakers have the Lakers. I'm sorry to a pop-up just popped up talking about Ben Simmons to the Lakers. But the Seahawks have let go of their hold on the division, and it's kind of left it up to grab. So the Rams and the Cardinals were really in a foot race to see whom was going to be able to take that throne, that seat away from the Seattle Seahawks that they vacated this year. It really looks like. And speaking on Seattle, I think it's going to be a while before they really recover from this. I think this season really put them in a predicament where they're the worst team in our division, not just by record, but on the field play. I mean, they just look horrible. And the 49ers, even with the struggles they've had over the last few years, have been trending in the right direction, even with a ton of injuries the Niners have endured over the last few years. So with that being said, I think Seattle has really dropped to a solid bottom in this division. They're going to be fourth for the foreseeable future. I think for the next 2 to 3 years, definitely. But now it's the Cardinals and the Rams and the Niners too. Barring injuries, the Niners are right there in the mix as far as talent level of what they have on their football team. I'll put this out there, call me a troll if you like, but the Niners would definitely roll into the NFC East and immediately be NFC East champions year in and year out, even with the injuries they've endured. So I really look at the NFC West division. We say it time and time again. We definitely have the best division in football, and the Arizona Cardinals are definitely the number one team in football, and we play the best competition due to our division as well. So I don't know how they put the Green Bay Packers at number one in the power rankings. I'll let them say what they want this week, but we're going to go out. We're going to handle the Rams on Monday night and take care of that. But just a quick preview at the other games, recap. The Vikings smashed the Steelers. Steelers did have some late spark in the game, but pretty much Minnesota handled that game from start to finish. Big Ben, it was great watching you, man. You're a Hall of Famer, one of the best quarterbacks to play in this era. But it's time. It's time to hang those up. It's sad watching you out there. Cowboys play with the Washington Redskins. The Cowboys are a 5-point favorite coming into the game. I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I got Washington beating Dallas 17-14. I think Washington takes this one. You got the Falcons and the Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and go Panthers here. I hope Cam Newton can step up. He's used to playing in this division. He's seen the Atlanta Falcons many times before. It should be one of those games where you got two teams 5-7, still fighting for at least in this case bragging rights for divisional purposes. But I see Cam Newton coming out on top of there and against the Falcons. Now the Jaguars, the Titans, we don't need to talk about that too much. Titans going to roll over the Jaguars there. That brings us to the Raiders and the Chiefs. This Raiders organization, every single year, they have to deal. I feel like they have a black cloud hanging over them. In a sense, they get talked about all the time. And in a sense, they don't get talked about at all. Anytime there's anything negative going on in Oakland, it's blown up, or Las Vegas now. It's blown up all over the media. ESPN blasts it. But when they're doing good, sometimes they're right there as well. But they're one of those organizations that they keep going. I feel like the Raiders have just that aura to them where, they go against the odds no matter what's going on. That's always one thing I admired about that team. And this year it's more of the same. I mean, when can we say that an organization has dealt with a primetime player getting arrested mid-season, taking off the team, and then also in the same season, your coach, gets removed as well. These aren't your typical fire cases neither. Weren't just fired or let go. We see those things, but these ones were removed for bigger reasons than football, if you ask me. So it's a crazy one. The Chiefs have really, really, really turned things around after their horrible start to the season. They're sitting at 8-4 with the Raiders sitting at 6-6. The Chiefs are a 9.5-point favorite. I say the bettors. This is a bettors game because I don't see the Chiefs beating them by 10. So I'm going to go on a limb and say the Raiders do this one. Derek Carr's played phenomenal. Hats off to him all year, no matter what he's gone through, no matter what the team's gone through. No Josh Jacobs, pretty much no running game. Kenyon Drake, prayers to him and his speedy recovery off that alligator roll tackle, which should be banned from the NFL. But Derek Carr, he just goes in there no matter what, and performs with whatever the fuck is on the field. He doesn't care. So with that, and then the Waller's another testament to the situation in this game as well. So it's a big thing. So we're gonna take a small break. Play a commercial for you. So give me 1 second here.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
All right. Well, again, everyone, I appreciate you tuning in to Jay's Freshh Takes. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, subscribe below, but also check us out, All Sports, All Plays Network, ASAP Network, all of your social medias, outlets, your major social media outlets, but also find us on Viva Live Television, channel 598, also on Roku and Amazon as well. Join in. It's a great community we have over there. A lot of sports. We got a sports show for you. Promise, no matter what it is, from wrestling to NASCAR. We got a wonderful NASCAR show called Loose Lugs. Wonderful show there. Throwing hands, all combat sports show, Major League Baseball show, just a lot of different things. So check us out. Again, ASAP Sports, All Plays Network. And thank you for your time. Signing out.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.